This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis, in for Tom Webster. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, February 29th. Happy Leap Day. First up, urban, suburban, and rural listening differences. Edison Research has a new weekly insight focusing on data from their Q4 2023 share of ear study. This time, they're looking at the share of time spent listening to audio sources collected from surveys of U.S. residents age 13 and up. AM/FM radio maintains a strong foothold in rural life, taking up 43% of daily audio listening time for rural listeners. Radio in suburban and urban areas gets 36% and 24% share, respectively. Podcasting remains a largely urban activity, getting 13% share of listen time, while in rural areas, listeners only spend 6% of their time with our medium. Edison notes that if one combines podcast and radio shares for each location, they all add up to somewhere between 47 and 49%. Audiences in urban, suburban, and rural areas seem to have a set time budget for radio and podcast allotment, just with differing amounts of what goes into the budget for each medium. Up next, advertisers are on edge, but IAS is in fine fettle. As we covered yesterday, the impending retirement of third-party cookies is no small source of stress for many in advertising, except for those who, instead of trying to bake a new cookie, are choosing existing tools and strategies for the post-cookie future. Advertising's departure from the cookie jar is podcasting's boon, as the industry's ability to contextually identify, target, and offer brand safety and suitability is unparalleled. VAST, Video Ad Serving Template, as a creative format enables podcasting to replicate every aspect of what these tools offer in other mediums with real-time, advertiser-controlled decisioning, which then pairs with the fact that nearly every podcasting platform that has dynamic ad insertion capabilities already supports VAST tags directly or through programmatic, making it all the easier for publishers to enable. Podcasting is geared to thrive in the post-cookie future, having lived and grown without them already at this point. How other channels will fare remains to be seen. And finally, audio agency ARM looks to boost streaming buys in podcasting with its own audience buying platform. Speaking of ad tech tools, Ad Results Media has announced a new platform called ARM Pro, which allows brands to access a suite of tools for buying target audiences that are vetted by ARM's teams for direct and programmatic deals, aiming to make sure advertisers are spending precious impressions on relevant audience members. ARM Vice President of Media Gretchen Smith told Digiday the Pro platform enables the company to optimize the supply side of podcast advertising to be as direct as possible. As for the rest of the news, this week the Media Roundtable podcast features Pete Berzinger of Podscribe. Since the Spotify acquisition of Podsights, there has been a gap in third-party attribution analytics in podcasting, and insights like this episode are how the industry grows past that gap. And two Acast co-founders have their sights on digital subscriptions with the new platform Sesame. Be sure to check out all the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, myself, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us tomorrow.